Okay, so Pokemon unboxing. I got this set. Not entirely sure what the name of it is. I think it's like Shining something EX, but it's gonna be delayed until the morning because I got home a little bit late and I promised my little brothers that I was gonna open it with them. And they actually recently, I guess not recently, it's been a few years, but they've been like heavily into Pokemon, which is like so cool for me because I remember as I was watching them grow up, I was like, I want them to be into Pokemon so bad because when I was a kid, I was so like heavily into it. And I think for a Christmas or their birthday or something, I even got them their first Pokemon game. I think it was like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl or whatever it was, the remakes of the Gen 4 games, which I thought was so cool because my first games ever were Diamond and Pearl, which I got on the Nintendo DS Lite when I was 4. And I don't think they liked it as much back then, but over time they've gained so much appreciation for it. So yeah, and after I went to Vegas, I got my like set of Pokemon cards, and now I'm like collecting again, and they have like a crazy collection, at least in my eyes. I'm not too like familiar. I don't know any of the new Pokemon nowadays, but yeah, so I don't know, thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, for now though, we got 30 plus questions that I chose out that I'm gonna be answering for the Q&A. So I'm just gonna go in the order that you guys asked them on the YouTube video. So yeah, without further ado, this is the Q&A of all time. So the first one I'm just gonna pop them up on the screen as well, by Dave's Exotic 3578. You be smoking Kush? If so, hell yeah. Also, thoughts on gear. So personally, I've had my experience with marijuana, and I do not partake in the smoking of the Kush, at least anymore. When I was in high school, I did have like a little phase where I was into it, but I tried to reintroduce it actually a couple years ago, and my paranoia was just through the roof. And it's something, I also do have asthma, so like it's something that I definitely would rather just live without. If I don't need it, like I just would not want to have it in my life. So if you do that stuff though, I know it helps a lot of people. I think honestly it's a substance that if it helps you a lot and you can benefit from it truly, because a lot of people that I know can become a lot more productive with it, then go for it, like do your thing. But for me personally, it just does the opposite. It makes me scared and it makes me lazy and tired and sluggish and just forgetful. So, and then to the second part of your question, thoughts on gear, I have no opinion. I mean, me personally, obviously I'm a lifetime natural, but if you do gear, like that's your own decision. I'm not gonna judge you. I think, there's a difference between doing gear as like an influencer and like claiming natural like that. I think is really fucked up, because it's a whole nother conversation I'm gonna get into later. But there's already so much like issues with just the way social media is and like the image that kids are getting from these influencers, that like you having a physique that's not naturally attainable and claiming that it is just like just fucked up. I don't know, but gear in general, bro, like if you do gear, you do gear, like I'm not gonna judge another man based off what they do. Everybody has their own goals, so that's my that's my take on that. Next question by J2 Slump. Love the content, man. You motivated me to start. Much love. Any tips on getting over the fear of filming in the gym? Okay, so I think the biggest tip, I mean, just generally, right, is just doing it, right? Like, there's no better way to instill something into you other than like practicing and like repetitiveness and doing it. I think for me, like I literally would just like go in every day, tell myself I'm gonna film something. Even if I'm not posting it, at least I'm in there making progress towards getting over my fear of filming. And trust me, like when I first started, it felt awkward. Sometimes you have a tripod in the gym. I mean, nowadays a lot of my content, thankfully, unless I'm filming YouTube, I could just do in like a stall or like somewhere private. But yeah, you're gonna get looks, and I think it's totally normal to get looked at in the gym. I get looked at all the time. I mean, I stand out when I come in with sigilism all over my clothing, kid wearing eyeliner, poofy ass hair. Like obviously I'm gonna stand out. People are gonna look at me. and it feels uncomfortable at first. Now, like, I don't pay no mind to it. Like, it's not even a slight thought in my head. I've just gotten so used to it and just accustomed to it. But there are people every single day when I go in the gym that stare me down. It's pretty insane now that I like think about it, but you get used to it over time. And you know, if you really want something, it just becomes habitual, and something as minuscule as that, it's just the ideology, right, of just like, who cares about what other people think about you, you know? As long as you're not like interfering with them, that's a different story, right? If you're in the gym, people are walking by your camera and you're getting upset, like, that's fucked up. But like, if you're in there, you know, you're doing your thing, you're filming, yeah, sure, people are gonna stare, people are gonna give you funny looks, because obviously there's people from different generations that don't understand what we're doing, right? Like, the 56-year-old that's in there, who goes in there to just train and like, you know, do his thing, isn't gonna understand why there's this freaking poofy curly hair kid with a camera all the time. Like, obviously he's gonna have a perception of me that's probably not good. But you know, if I guarantee if you were to genuinely talk to that person and have them understand, they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe they won't, but who cares, bro? You're doing it because you have a goal. And yeah, I guess that's my take on that. Jash-F1L. What are the basic training and diet principles you follow for optimal muscle growth? Fundamentally speaking, it's three main things, right? There's training hard. I think across the board, training hard, eating good, and sleeping well. Like, that's as general and as basic as it gets. But like, if you can follow those three things, like truly follow, you're locked in with diet. You're not skipping meals, you're not bullshitting, you're not having Chipotle like me, you're doing your cardio, and you're going in the gym every day with intention. Every rep has intention, and you're making sure that you're going to sleep on time, and you're not taking 400 milligrams of caffeine before bed like me, which is why I'm up and doing this, then you will grow. And obviously, like me, I make mistakes. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. But you know, if you're genuinely holding yourself accountable over a good period of time, I think that's like the biggest thing, right? Like, you could have the perfect, quote unquote, perfect split, perfect, I don't know, like rep ranges and all of that, but like, nothing's going to be as important as you just being consistent with everything. So if you could just follow that, you'll be good. Diogo HC, am I lit? Of course you're lit, bro. You know all the people who are watching this video right now, you guys are the most lit people of all time. Percocet. That Percocet. What's your best advice for someone trying to do the things you do and build a following? Okay, so I actually had this conversation with Tommy Brown. I think I actually was talking about him earlier in this video, but just talking about like the oversaturation of fitness right now, and a lot of people have the wrong intentions. And he was even telling me that he was getting people, because obviously he does coaching, and he was getting people who were coming to him basically just expressing like how they just want to have, like, they want to get famous, they want to have this. And like, don't get me wrong, I totally get it, right? Like, you want to have a platform where you can do stuff, and you know, it's cool, especially when you're young. You see that, it's pretty cool. I'm sure there's people who watch me and they're like, damn, I wish I could be in his position. But bro, when all of us started this shit, it was never about that. Like, me, when I started lifting, first of all, like, that's something I'm gonna get into later, but like, bro, like, I started lifting because I wanted to change for myself, right? I didn't give a fuck about, that wasn't even in the slightest thought of my mind. And then when I started making content, bro, I was posting 3 to 4 times a day to like a couple hundred people for a good while. I was just posting because I knew there was somebody out there that was gaining from what I was posting. Like, I was experimenting with different things, and most of all, I was having fun. Like, I genuinely enjoyed making all those videos, and obviously I didn't expect to get to where I'm at now. It kind of just happened. But like, in my mind, I just wasn't focused on like sponsorships or things like that, or just getting famous. Like, dude, if that's your intention, like, you shouldn't even be thinking about any of this, to be honest. So I think like my biggest point with this question is just, if you have genuine intention if you want to build something that is genuine and you want to help people, and you know, you want somewhere where you can express your own creativity, then by all means, that's really all you need. You just need to do. You just need to take action. But if you want to do this so you can get quote unquote famous, or like have sponsorships, or I don't know, like for just disingenuine, like I think that's the terminology, disingenuine reasons, like just don't even bother. It's not your field. S6X639 niche. But what is your opinion on the Jackson State University Sonic Boom of the South? Are they the greatest marching band of all time? Who compares to them? Okay, so this is actually a very niche question. Bro, like in NBA terms, for you guys who don't understand, it's pretty much like comparing like LeBron James to like, not even LeBron, I'd say like Kobe to like, I don't know, somebody coming up in this draft class who is prosperous. Like, bro, Kobe's in his own like world comparatively to like all these other universities. But yeah, cool ass question, but that's my take on that. Lollipop 101 XOX. How did you start doing content? What is your backstory, and why did you start your fitness journey? What are your goals right now, and what are you looking forward to in the future? So pretty much I initially started, well, just fitness in general, right? I think I explained this in like an old video, which is actually, by the way, forgot to mention, thank you guys for 10,000 followers. Like, I don't think I've said that yet. Just, it's kind of unreal because I started making YouTube about a year ago from now, a little over, and it's just mind-blowing. Like 10,000 people is a lot of freaking people. I don't know, especially for YouTube, which is a platform that I very much so enjoy because I can talk to you guys and be genuine on here comparatively to like TikTok and Instagram. So just thank you guys. Aside from that though, I started fitness it's been 5 years I want to say now that I've been training, and I actually started here at that little garage over there. My father built a garage gym around the pandemic time, a little bit before, and during the pandemic I was at the lowest point mentally, to be honest, and I was heavily addicted to video games. So like I would literally just from waking up, I'd skip class, play video games from like morning to like late at night, and I got so fed up with myself and I needed some other outlet because I was going insane. It was a toxic game. I played League of Legends for quite some time and I needed another outlet. So my other outlet was that home gym, and I remember it's quarantine, so I was just completely detached from all of society and everything. I didn't have many friends either. I had a couple friends. Cameron was still my friend, but we didn't really talk too much. But my friend Mikey, I will always remember, just like he'd come over, we'd train together, we'd push each other. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we were having fun. And yeah, like that's how I started. And I wasn't consistent, I wasn't good with it. I was losing myself at the same time too. So, but once I moved to California, so to put that in time frame, this is 2021, right? And then I moved to Cali June 2021, like 2 weeks after I graduated, and I got my first gym membership in about, I want to say in July or August or something like that. And it was at a 24-hour fitness, which now shut down. It's a 24-hour fitness in Santa Barbara. And once I got that, I started to become a bit more consistent, but I still had ups and downs. I was still playing video games. I was in college, adapting to like living by myself across the United States. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I want to say at the very start of 2023, I actually went through a breakup, and that was like the moment I broke up with this girl that I was dating at the time, because I was so upset with myself. I had no self-love whatsoever. I was driving myself crazy, and I didn't know how to be alone. Like, I didn't know how to be alone, and that was a problem. I didn't know how to be by myself. And I knew that if I continued that relationship, it was just gonna furthermore hurt both me and her. And even if it didn't hurt her directly, I knew in the long run that it was gonna hurt her even more. So I had to just take that big step and separate. And I remember I went back to Florida, got really fucking sick. I was like malnourished too. I had the flu for like the whole 2 weeks I was here. It was around like the holiday time, and I came back to California, and I was just like, I'm sick of this, like I'm gonna lock in. And like ever since then, bro, like I made so much progress. I remember I was actually in like a little powerboating arc. So I started lifting. I would do powerboating, and I gained like 30 pounds. I was like stuffing food. Like I was eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day, which, by the way, don't do that because you'll put on a lot of fat. Obviously, that's why I gained 30 pounds in like 2.5 months. But I made such a notable change that I remember at the time, Tommy Spalding went to my gym, if you guys are familiar with T-Spal, and he was like, bro, you should start posting content. And like ever since he said that, I took that into consideration. A little bit later that year, around like April, May, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna lock in. And then I started, and then I was having fun with it. And then around like December is when I started to gain a little bit of traction. I think in January of 2024 is when Breathedivinity reached out to me, and yeah, the rest is history. But that's to answer like my backstory stuff, I guess. But my goals right now, so I have my main focus actually, so I kind of spoke about this on Snapchat. If you guys don't have my Snapchat, I think it's like, my Snapchat is Jaydon ORT, so add me on Snapchat because I'm gonna be more active on there. But personally, like right now, my goals are just to travel. Like I want to experience, I think this is peak, like this is a peak time. I've been traveling a little bit, and it's been so much fun. I've been able to experience so much, meet new people, and that's just like the beauty of life. I definitely want to expand my boundaries, but yeah, so just travel. I want to get closer with God, and I also want to really just like focus on like what's next for me, and like where I want to take my career with this, because I definitely want to do something within this realm, right? But I want to take it to the next level. I continue to evolve, but I need to continuously keep evolving and figure out how to just take it to the next level, right? And also just figuring out how to connect more with you guys, because you guys, sometimes like I forget that like I genuinely have people who like watch my videos and they gain something from it. It's hard to like rationalize, especially when you do social media, until like you have somebody come up to you and they tell you the impact you have on them. And like, yeah, I think lately, as I said earlier, I've been feeling like very lethargic, but just keeping that in the back of my mind that you guys are like real and are out there and gain something from these videos, that makes me like just a million times happy. So I guess that's my goals. I think with like the whole bodybuilding thing, I will put like competing on hold. I definitely want to experience it one day, but I have so many like other goals right now that when I do compete, I want to be 100% in it. So, Detailed Jacob, what's your favorite anime? And if you were to look like any anime character, who would it be? Favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's like, bro, I have such a good resonation with it, and I was talking about it with Aiden, and it's funny because we both watched it around like a very rough time of our life, and that show just goes so deep into like just self-realization and actualization, and like figuring out self-love and just appreciation, and just figuring out like just that self-realization aspect of figuring out who you are, you know, and just understanding that, you know, like how you perceive yourself is how others will perceive you. How you know, take care of yourself is how you're gonna pretty much just get reacted by. So like how people will react to you. If you take good care of yourself, you're gonna be perceived as somebody who takes good care of themselves. But if you let yourself go and treat yourself like shit, other people are gonna treat you like shit. Yeah, I think like that show just means so much to me. I think shows in general, like, it's almost like music, right? You hear a certain song at a certain point in your life, you're always going to attach it to that memory. And it could be a shit song, but like if you were going through it and like that song got you through it, like you're going to love that song. So I think this the same thing with like shows and animes and things like that. But yeah, if there's any anime character that can look like, it's a good question. Honestly, I think looks wise, Kaneki will always be like, he's so cool to me. I don't know, Kaneki's very just badass. But there's like a bunch of cool characters. Like I'd actually have to think about that. I'm not gonna lie, like I be on Pinterest and I have like a bunch of like just cool things saved. So honestly, any of the Bleach characters too. Bleach characters are like peak, like the design, like Ulquiorra, bro. Actually, recently when I went to the Las Vegas convention, I had these little Lego things, and I got a little Ulquiorra Lego, which I think is so fucking sick. But yeah, probably any Bleach character. Honestly, bro, just make me an anime character. That's the goal, right? When I get comments that are like, bro, you look like an anime character, that's like my goal. From Jake-RH3W3Woo, I'm gonna just say, how big a difference does eating whole foods versus protein shakes? Not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest science nerd, but I do believe that, you know, when you just think about it from a general perspective, right? You're getting food or protein from like a steak versus something that's heavily processed, like protein powder, protein that's extracted and turned into a powder, or however the fuck they do it. I think the steak is gonna be a lot more bioavailable. So, I mean, I think it's pretty important. That's why I'd say it's like generally a lot better if you could get most of your protein in from like actual protein sources. It's really not that hard, guys. Like, I hear people complain about like, oh, 200 grams of protein, like how is that even possible? Dude, if you just have like eggs and egg whites in the morning, you have like a pound of beef or a pound of some meat and like Greek yogurt, you're good. Like, it's really not that hard. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like it's really not that hard. So it's Eli Sizzle. Do you have any good camera suggestions for filming gym content? DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the thing that I'm filming on right now. I've put all my friends onto it. It's like, it's just so easy. You pull it out your pocket, it's like a phone. It's very, very accessible, and the quality is pretty freaking good. So Tixu2803, do you have a part-time job to earn income, and if yes, what is it other than social media? So I actually used to work 2 jobs and was a full-time student at one point, obviously when I lived in California and had a lot more expenses. But now that I'm back home with my parents, when I initially moved out here, I got a job at a restaurant. I was just a host and actually ended up getting fired. And I got fired because I didn't show up to these host meetings. There's like a 3-strike rule. 2 out of the times I didn't show up to a host meeting because I was doing something for Breathe Divinity, and I was like, well, I'm gonna pick, am I gonna go to this host meeting that I'm getting paid like $14 to show up to, or am I gonna go to this Breathe Divinity event where I could potentially, you know, create an opportunity for my career? And what did I do? I chose that. And then the third time, or my 3rd strike, was me getting there late because I didn't have a car at the time and I was Ubering, and I live deep in my neighborhood. So if an Uber comes, it takes 15 minutes, and the one that was coming canceled partway through. So I ended up showing up to work late and they fired me. And then after that, the rest is history. I locked in and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a living out of this. And that's what happened. So yeah, I literally make all my money from you guys using my code and on Gorilla and Breathe Divinity stuff. So thank you guys very much for making this possible. I don't even know how it happened, but it just, something clicked. From Evangelist, what's your favorite split you've tried so far? So actually, I was speaking about this earlier. PPO X Arnold, I've tried so many splits. I've tried PPO, I've tried PPLA, I've tried PPO Arnold, I've tried Arnold solely, I've tried like chest biceps, back triceps, leg shoulders. I've tried all of the shit. PPO Arnold was my favorite, 6 days a week. And honestly, I think like if you could rest a bit more, it'd be nice. I personally I love working out, so like I'm a gym cell, so like having rest days suck. So having just one rest day and having like so much variety throughout the week just felt so cool and nice. So I think PPO Arnold was my favorite split. But like I said earlier too, like I don't think split matters like as much as people think. Like people will see somebody jacked and the first question they'll ask them is, what's your split? And it's like, bro, like whatever works for you, you know. Elor people, what do you do for a living out of lifting and the sponsorships? So what places in the US would you recommend someone to visit? non-touristic, brain rot, genuinely beautiful places and landscapes. Okay, I kind of answered the first question, but the second question, California has so many beautiful places that I've been to. There's so many like niche little areas where you could just hike and just become like one with nature. I was actually talking with Tommy Brown earlier about taking a trip to Montana, and I was looking at videos, and Montana looks freaking insane. I know Oregon's insane. I have a couple friends out there and I've never been, but that place looks beautiful. When I went to Pennsylvania, it was actually very pretty. Pennsylvania and North Carolina are very pretty places. But yeah, I'm totally like with you on like the nature stuff, bro. Like traveling just to like indulge in nature and like appreciate what God has created and just the earth. I think that's just like, bro, that's peak living, man. So yeah, those are my knowledge, to my knowledge, the recommendations I have. But I have been around like California. I think California is so like vast and versatile. It's a great place to go to. And then, you know, if you want to like experience like beaches, Florida has some beautiful beaches. BLC Fit. What was your aha moment in your fitness journey? I'm referring to that moment when you realized something that really works that you didn't know before. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this for fitness and social media. So for fitness solely, I feel like my aha moment was just realizing that the more you put in, the more you get out. So I think like when I had that initial breakup in 2023, right, I was literally like so locked in. That was the most locked in I've ever been. Before, like those 2 years prior, like when I first moved to Cali, before that and going forward, I was so on and off with the gym. And I was making progress, right? But like it wasn't anything extraordinary. And I felt like in that like first 3 months of 2023, I felt like I made like more progress in those 3 months alone compared to like those whole like 2 years prior. And that was just like, whoa, aha, like I can like, I have the power to like make as much as I want from it, you know? So like the more you put into this sport or hobby, whatever, the more you're gonna get out. And it's like that with everything in life. Social media, just whatever you're doing, school, work, I don't know, the more you put in, the more you get out. I think, or the more you get out of it. I think Rich Piana, that's one of his quotes. It's so true. It's so true. So yeah, and then with social media, I just kind of like realized like over time as you post, you kind of figure out what your niche is and like what people like. So like sometimes on TikTok, I'll go on like runs where like every video is like popping off and I'm like, yeah, like this is what people like. So like when you get a video that does noticeably better than the other videos that you post, take that into consideration. There's probably a reason behind that. Obviously, I think luck is a thing, algorithm is a thing, but if you post a good video, David R. David Gonzalez, 1042. What gym equipment do you use and what type of shoes we should use in gym? I personally use some plain Adidas running shoes, but sometimes it feels weird to use them. Okay, so I just use straps, wraps, and that's pretty much it. I don't really have, I mean, my tripod, I guess, but like for working out, just straps and wraps. And then for shoes, honestly, bro, just get like flat sole shoes like Nike Blazers. Bro, I wear whatever. I wear my Sambas, my Ricks. I really don't give a fuck. But like flat shoes are really nice, to be honest. Running shoes are fine. I don't think it's too big of a deal. But I think ideally, flat soled shoes are nice. So yeah, look into like Blazers or something like that. Is there anywhere we can see and listen to your playlist? Where do you find the music choices for your YouTube videos? Okay. My Spotify is public, but I have a lot of playlists privated, and my SoundCloud is public as well. I have a playlist on there that's like hardstyle, euphoric kind of vibe, I guess. I put it in the description below. I do need to make more playlists on Spotify. I just kind of like, I'll make a playlist and then like I'll just like dead it 30 songs in or like 20 songs in. And yeah, I have so much music. I love music, if you couldn't tell, by the way. Like music, I listen to so much music. Like my Wrapped always has like tens of thousands of minutes at the end of the year. But yeah, I'll try to work, I always say that, like I'll try to work on like making a playlist for you guys, but I do have like my standard Spotify and SoundCloud playlist out. I actually forgot about my Spotify playlist. One of my friends brought it up. He was like, yo, like this popped up, and I started listening to it, and it's so good. And I'm like, dude, I haven't updated that in like a year, so I'll try to update that. Pita Unzoms 2553, are you religious? What religion do you believe in? So with religion, I realized I don't want to like talk about it and be like too open about it on like YouTube and stuff. I am Christian, I am a believer of God, but I do realize that everybody has their own like religious, should we call it, beliefs, and like I don't want to like be that guy that like pushes it onto people, you know. Everybody has their own thing, and it's something that I think is a bit personal too, you know. Everybody has their own journey with Christ or whatever they believe in. So yeah, JRFit67, by the way, this guy has an insane physique. I recognize your username from IG. Bro, this guy's actually cracked. He's very underrated. So you guys want to see somebody who looks insane, look him up. Any advice you can give about life, lifting, etc. that you wish you got? Okay, so if I'm talking to like my younger version of myself, I'm telling him that, you know, have fun. Like, there's so many kids who are just like in a rush to attain a certain physique and certain like, I don't know, nowadays it's just like so oversaturated that people just want to get to point B so fast. And like, looking back at my fitness journey, the beauty of it was getting to where I'm at now, and there's still so much more for me to achieve, but just being present and enjoying the process. And even the lifts, bro, like especially when you're like new and like it feels like you're growing every day, bro, take that in. That's like the best feeling that you can possibly get. And you know, your rate of growth tends to slow down the longer you've been lifting. So if you're within your first 2 to 3 years of lifting, bro, that's the best time. Like, that's the most fun I've had in my lifting career. Just having fun, not really giving a fuck about like if I'm doing everything perfectly proper. Like, so many people are just like into like making sure every detail. And yeah, like I think it's very important that, you know, you're training with proper intention and training hard. But like, if you're not doing, you know, 1 to 0 RIR, making sure every rep is like calculated, like it's okay, just have fun, bro. Like, enjoy the process, be there. You know, you're gonna get somewhere eventually if you're doing things like relatively right. So don't rush it, just be present. I think that's like the biggest thing. Sick Rad Rat 1664, could you give some advice on confidence and self-esteem, maybe even law of attraction if you're into that? Okay, I need water. Okay, so I think, you know, there's been this thing going around on social media, this whole like black pill looksmaxxing thing, and I think honestly, in my personal opinion, it's kind of idiotic. I think at the end of the day, how you perceive yourself is how you're going to be perceived. Obviously, if you're chopped and you think you're the most handsomest person of all time, it's not going to work like that. But like, if you take care of yourself and present yourself in a proper way, then obviously you're going to be perceived in a way that people realize that you're somebody who takes care of themselves. And yeah, I think black pill and looksmaxxing is great for the fact that it kind of pushes that you should take care of yourself, but it takes it a step too far where it makes it seem that like looks is everything. And personally, that's just, I don't know, that's never been the case, bro. Even with like relationships, right? When I look at a woman, yeah, looks is something, but like I've dealt with so many different girls where they, on the outside they're beautiful, but on the inside they're just horrible. What's gonna make you confident on the inside is just like making sure that your values and morals align with genuinely like the person you are, you know? If you're a good person, you're nice, and you spread positivity, you're gonna feel good inside. But if you're negative, continuously like pushing other people down, pushing yourself down, it's just gonna be this toxic cycle. So I think in order to just attain confidence is just making sure that you prioritize yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your mental, your physical, your hygiene. Like, I think that's a big thing, right? Like, just making sure, you know, You wake up, you shave, you clean yourself, take care of yourself, you incorporate like things that are just gonna make you feel better. Even if you don't think they'll make you feel better, they will. And yeah, I mean, when I go outside, bro, like or even when I go to the gym, right, I put on these outfits and I like want to make sure I look good, because that's what makes me feel good, you know. So just taking consideration into how you look, like, it sounds contradicting because I'm saying like black pill and looksmaxxing doesn't matter, but at the same time, like, I think that the main ideology is just taking care of yourself and like prioritizing your self-care, right? And just saying that like looksmaxxing and black pill like takes it way too far, where like it makes it seem like the whole world revolves around it, right? And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your own perception of yourself. Biggest fan 714, how do you put your faith in God? So like I said earlier, I don't want to get like too deep into religion on here, but I think everybody has their own way. For me personally, I think when you reach a certain point in life, you almost feel like you have no other option, you know, like you feel like you almost feel hopeless, and you kind of resort, and it's sad to say that it takes that much, but for me personally, it like took me to get to the lowest of the low, to like reach my hand out and actually like ask for help. And I think that's when, you know, your journey begins. But everybody has their own journey, and everybody's journey is different. But if you do have like questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Like, I won't mind giving you guys advice. I still have a lot to work on in my own journey, so we're all in this together though. Eyeliner tutorial, bro. Like, literally, you grab the pencil, you go like under your eye, like right there, and you just pen it on. It's honestly not that hard. I just put on the under part of my eyelid, and that's it. So Riley Fork 5, how long do BD stock orders take to ship? I ordered within the minute of it dropping in stores and ship. I also do apologize. I know all these questions are like a month old, but just generally, so you guys know, sometimes you'll order like immediately, but certain pieces will not be stocked. There is 3 stock items in your order, but one of them isn't stocked. You're not gonna get your order until pre-order is ready. So, and pre-order usually takes 3 to 4 weeks, but I can assure you guys, like, BD, obviously if you're not getting stock, it takes a long time to ship, but you guys will get your order. So don't like panic. It's almost like, you know, when you like order something and you forget you order it, and then one day you get that like notification, you get that knock on your door, and you're like, holy shit, I ordered that. That's how BD is. Zeke Dion 2739, what is your end goal of life outside of the gym? What do you believe is your purpose? I feel like my purpose is to just like radiate, if that makes sense. Like, I just want to be a bright light for others, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I've been gifted so much throughout my life, and I have this opportunity to have a platform. Like, I really just want to be somebody people can look up to and like take note from, whether it's like being nice to other people or just like spreading happiness. Like, that's my goal, just to spread like happiness, and I want other people to feel like that fulfillment of just being positive. Like, I don't know, it sounds corny, but like, I genuinely just want to be a light for other people. So Kevin Morales, hey, would it be beneficial to change the routine of exercises done for each muscle group after a while? Yada yada yada. Okay, I think in general it's always just nice to switch up your routine, just for like the the dopamine factor, bro. Like, after training a certain way for so long, like I was doing PPL Arnold for like almost a year, and after training like that for so long, I was like, okay, like, this is great, I've grown a lot, but like, I need something different. So right now I'm doing PPL. So yeah, change it up. If you want to change it up, bro, it ain't that deep. Just make sure you're training hard and your structure is decent. Heroes analysis, how can I improve my bench press? My form is good and I plateaued at 205. It's my weakest area by far compared to all my other muscle groups. Any advice? Bench will always be like, not many people have a bench that's higher than their deadlift or squat. If it is, I'd be concerned, to be honest. But for me, what worked, I mean, I'm not a power lifter, but I did have that power building phase. And at the start of 2023, my bench literally went from like 205 to 255 in like 2 months, which I think is pretty freaking good. Obviously I put on a lot of weight, but I would do a lot of 3x3s. 3x3s, I know Lucas told me about like RP7, which just means leaving 3 reps in reserve when you do your compounds. But I don't have the best advice for benching, because yeah, but I would just say, like, make sure you kind of analyze how you structure your training. Like, you're not just going in there and doing like the same 3x8 every single day or whatever the hell you're doing. You know, if something's not working, then you gotta change something. So I'm not sure exactly what you need to change, but just try to analyze it. It's not _vamp. How to stay in the right conscious of like staying patient or being patient with results, and how to keep a positive mindset. Bro, if it's social media that's like blocking you and you're seeing all this perfectionism on there, delete it. Get it off your screen. Realize that the reality of bodybuilding is that this shit takes a long time. Certain people are going to grow faster than other people. I think genetics plays such a big role. It's like, you know, it's actually crazy how big a role genetics play. Don't be discouraged, because whatever you're gifted with, you have the opportunity to train. If you're able to train and work out, that's the biggest gift of all time. If you're training to get to a certain point takes longer than another person, it's even more beautiful. You have more time to enjoy just each training session and getting there. Yeah, you're gonna have to work harder, but like, that's the beauty of it. You're gonna be a harder worker than that person. You're gonna have that mentality, that patience, that discipline built up. So make the most out of it. You know, whatever God has given you guys, whatever situation it is, whether it's fucked up, whether it's genetic or just relationships, make the most out of whatever you have. You know, like, that's really all you can do. There's not much more to it. So, Eos Turk, have you ever been made fun of by people using eyeliner? Dude, I literally had a video that went viral. Half the comments are like, damn, this guy looks badass. And the other half are like, what is this G word, F word doing in the gym? Why is he wearing eyeliner to the gym? And like, bro, like, that's the exact shit that I'm talking about. Like, who cares? If you think you look cool, rock that shit. If you are wearing clown shoes to the gym and people are making fun of you, who cares? You think it's cool. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, nobody else's perception of yourself matters except for your own. So as long as you don't let them alter your perception of yourself, you're gonna be just fine. What does success mean to you? Also, what about Death Note do you like so much, if you don't mind talking about it? We have an L profile picture too, that's dope. Okay, success is just like being fulfilled inside, right? Feeling like happy with myself. And I think what feeling happy means to me is just like feeling like I'm going, so right, I feel like everybody has a life and their life is a path. As long as I'm continuing to go down that path in the right direction, then I feel like I'm happy. Yeah, there's gonna be like times where I stray off the path. There's gonna be times where I fall down a hole and have to climb myself back out. But as long as I'm continuing and not like walking back, which I think it's like damn near impossible to walk back. I think everything you do in life is somewhat of a progression towards something. Even if it may not seem like it in the moment, down the line you're gonna realize that whatever incident happened has helped you get to the point that you're at today. So as long as I'm keeping my feet going, I'm alive, you know, I'm not quitting. So yeah, and Death Note, bro, like one of the first animes I watched, so it resonates with me. It's OG, just like, I don't know, L's character is cool as fuck, his design, everything. Even the art in Death Note is beautiful. I like Death Note a lot. So yeah, thanks for the advice. Always a pleasure to hear you express your thoughts. If you could only choose one song to work out to for the rest of your life, what song would it be? That's a good ass question. Probably, I'm not gonna lie, I Want You to Know by Selena Gomez and I think Zed. That song is just like, it resonates. Yeah, that song is like pretty peak. And if you are more in a more reflective state, what is the biggest obstacle that you have faced in your life that made you the person you are? I'd say honestly is like myself. Like, I think the biggest obstacle is conquering your mind. Your mind is the biggest, can be your best friend, but can be your biggest enemy. And there was a point where my mind had me in a fucking chokehold. So just in general in life, like, your mind will play some evil tricks on you, and you know, you are the only person who's going to be able to like tell yourself that you have control. Your mind doesn't have control on you, you have control over your mind. And once you take your control back, that's when you win. So I don't want to get into too much detail, but that's my take on that. Danny Jim Fit, this will be the last question. This is a long ass Q&A. If you've made it to the end, dude, shout out to you. Thank you for watching and just being like entertained by this. Yo man, I also started posting because of your videos. Thank you. I'm glad you're posting. Do you make money from YouTube? If yes, is it a good amount or not really? So actually recently got accepted into the Creator Fund, but in order to make money, I would need to use sounds and songs that are not copyright, and I do not want to do that. Like, I feel like just the music, obviously, like I said, I'm a big fan of music, and that adds so much character to my videos, the music that I choose. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe when I'm at a certain point where I am genuinely able to make like a lot of money, maybe. But like, dude, it's the money that I'd be making right now would not be worth it at all. So, but yeah, I think now it's time for me to go to bed, and then tomorrow morning we'll open this guy up. I think there's 10 packs in here. Hopefully we'll get something cool, and that'll be it. So see you guys in the morning.